Hi, welcome to the Content at Scale walkthrough, or I guess you could call it Content at Scale 2.0. We're going to be looking at some of the wonderful updates that they have done to their platform and just kind of walk you through how to use it. So let's dive in. So, Content at Scale, for those who aren't aware, is an AI platform that will create blog posts at scale. And when I mean at scale, I mean you will have fully written blog posts that pass AI detectors within like 5 minutes. Uh, it's pretty quick. So you can imagine if you are needing to scale up your content super fast, this is definitely a platform that you want to look at. So we are going to be diving in and taking a look at how to actually create the posts and then kind of let you see under the hood of what it looks like to operate within the text editor as well. All right, so let's create an article. First, we go into our projects folder, and then we're going to go to add content. And from here, as you can see, there are several types of input. You don't just need a keyword anymore. You can choose another blog post, a YouTube video, which I am going to show you in this video, a podcast, a custom audio file, and a doc to post. All right, so the AI is just going to kind of use this as a jumping off point, whatever format you choose to input. It's just going to use that as, like I said, a jumping off point to base the article, but it will create something that is slightly different. It's not going to be verbatim. All right, so we're going to choose keyword to let you see what that looks like. And all we're going to do is just kind of type in a keyword here. And then you are also able to add some context, and I strongly urge you to do that. So if you already have like a small content brief, some of those points that you want to see need to be in there. And then you just click on create content now, and then it will take about 5 minutes roughly to be able to get the article. All right, so we're going to click back in, and this is letting you look at the text editor. Now, in comparison to the previous version of Content at Scale, this is a lot more streamed down or streamlined. Everything's kind of tucked away so that you get a lot of writing and editing space here. Once you click on the little tab over here where it said optimization, you can look and see like this is how many keywords are in the article. If they're missing any, my favorite part, the checklist to make sure I haven't missed anything. Can I just say I love checklists? So I'm going to check out the metadata because that one is definitely missing. So we're going to need to fix that one. And all I have to go back to optimization, click on the meta description, and then I can just, kind of type something in there. And it'll actually tell me if you see that little green button down there at the bottom, it kind of lets me know how it's doing. If I am kind of hitting the right, how would you say, the right character count. And it's kind of saying it's okay, but I need it to be a little bit longer. All right, so now that I have completed the meta description, I can go back into my checklist, and as you can see, it tells me now that there's a little green check mark to make sure that the meta description is there with the primary keyword, but the length is off, so I need to go back in and fix that at some point. Now we're going to be looking at the research tab, and this one is super helpful if you need to add some context. Here is where you would do it, and then you would click rewrite post, but that totally rewrites the post, so just kind of be aware of that in case you kind of like it. But if it's not what you need, then definitely click that. All right, here we are adding in a featured image from the gallery. As you could see, you can add in an image that you already have. You don't have to use their pre-selected choices. Okay, so I just want to take a second and pause here at the history and users, which is one of those new features that we're looking at. So you do have the ability now to have multiple users added to your account. You just have to send an invite to them, you know, of course, to their email address, and then they sign in and create a password for themselves. And then you can see who pops up in here in the history and kind of keep track of who's creating the articles, who is, you know, editing the articles, that sort of thing, which is a super handy feature. All right, so we are going to head over to the research tab. And from this tab, you can look at the different articles that the AI is pulling from in the search engine's results. So these articles, you can just, you know, click on that little down arrow and it lets you open them up. This is also the place that you can add new sections, but we'll do that in just a minute. Okay, so first thing that you really want to start doing is just looking over the article and kind of getting a sense of what the AI has created, if there are any spots that are missing and that sort of thing, if there's any redundancies within the section. So definitely make sure you take a look at it. Content at Scales AI creates a pretty near publishable article, but you still have to go in and really make sure that, you know, your facts are correct, that any of the little hallucinations aren't there. You have to customize it to give it a more human like voice, and, you know, really tone that matches your particular company. So make sure to do that first as you go through. So what I'm showing you guys here are just some of the features that you can, like formatting features, as it said, where you want to highlight a text, if you need to change the font size, the style, so if you need to create a different heading, that's all there. And I just want to point out that even though they have the little toolbar, I guess you could say, up at the top, in the middle of the screen, you'll also notice that that toolbar was there as well when you clicked on the, or when I clicked on a line to start entering different information. So it does pop up in two places, but I do believe you get more functionality with the ones on the top as well. All right, so let's rewrite the sentence that I highlighted. Once again, all I did was highlight it and then click rewrite, and it is going to give me some new versions. So I'm just going to pick the one that I think is going to work the best and kind of go from there. All right, so now I'm going to add in a new section. And to do that, I'm just going to find the spot that I want the new section to be. And I'm going to type in the heading for the section. And of course, change the, the formatting for that to make it an H2 or 3. And then I go over to the research tab, and I'm going to find the article that I wanted to make sure that I pulled more information from, that I saw kind of match the heading that I wanted. And you just use that little down arrow, and once you have the section that you would like to add in, you kind of click on the paragraph with the plus symbol, and are you sure the ranking content will be added into the editor? So you hit yes, and then it'll take a second. I actually had to scroll down kind of to the bottom of the page because I wasn't sure where it popped up, but once I got back up there, it actually had added it in. I think it just needed to load. I think my browser or my internet was a little bit slow this day. So once I have that in there, I'll be able to move this around a little bit and format it a little bit more easily. All right, and now I'm going to use some movie magic to make that go a little bit faster. Okay, now they also have, of course, the standard built-in plagiarism checker, so you can definitely check that still with the new update with Content at Scale. And they've added in a built-in AI detector. We use their AI detector a lot on any AI written content, even if it's not written with Content at Scale. And it does a really great job of really pinpointing out those problem areas for us. As you can see, those highlighted areas are the places where we would want to focus in on and really polish those areas so that they're not detectable with AI. All right, and lastly for this, if you wanted to take a look at your article to see what it would possibly look like on your website, you can preview it, and that is a super handy little feature. All right, so let's create an article from a YouTube video. This is one of those new features that Content at Scale 2.0 has launched, which is wonderful. So you just need the URL to your YouTube video, plop it in there, hit create content now, and come back in about 5 minutes, and it will have produced an article for you. And as you will see in a little bit, it will actually embed the YouTube video into the article itself, which is super handy. It's one less thing for you to have to do. So having said that, the way that I would see using this particular feature, along with the one for the podcast and the one for the document, any of those, what it's really going to be helpful for is if you already have an existing YouTube channel or a podcast, something of that nature, and you need to turn the content from that particular item, whether that's a podcast or a video, into an article, then that's what this is for. It is not going to actually be for you saying, oh, hey, I really love this content. I want to kind of repurpose it to make it my own and that sort of thing and give it my own voice. No, this is best for, because it's kind of, I don't want to say it's a summary or a paraphrase of the video itself, but it's kind of in that vein. So you don't want to necessarily use it unless it's for a YouTube video or podcast that you have already created for your own business. As you can see, just from kind of glancing through the article, it really uses a lot of McCann dog trainings, tone of voice and that sort of thing. So the AI captures it really well. So once again, this is really just meant to be one of those features that you use for your own existing videos, podcasts, or even documents that you have, which again is super handy. It's just not something that you can use to kind of use as like a jumping off point to create a brand new idea or article. Okay, so from there, using the text editor is going to be exactly the same, no matter what type of input type you're using. So whether it's a keyword or whatever have you, it's going to be pretty much the same. I will say the only difference is that when you're using a podcast as input or a YouTube video or anything like that, it is actually going to be able to create the link inside of there for you, which is wonderful. Having that embedded player for a podcast or, the embedded YouTube video there is super helpful. One less thing that you have to do. Yeah, so just dive in and start editing. All right, that's all I have for our Content at Scale walkthrough. If you would like to see more about Content at Scale, definitely check out our review on ddiy.co, where we give you lots of great information and even courses for how to use the platform. So I hope you have a wonderful day.